Hi everyone, today I am going to be doing this snow globe. I decided to pick this one because it's fairly simple. We've got a lighthouse which I've done before, we've got a castle which I've done with you really very recently, and some dome buildings which I'll probably do in gold, and I've shown you gold domes before, so I thought this might be a little bit different. Now I can't zoom in much more and show you the whole picture because of the way my book's positioned under my tripod. But I thought we would start. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the background in a dark coloured Posca pen, and then on top of that pen I'm going to draw on the snow after. So I'll show you how to do that later, but we'll colour first. Now the reason I colour first is because I'm going to use my Ergosoft, my Staedtler's number 29 for the roof. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to zoom in as much as I can for the roofs, so you can see them all in shot. There we go. So I'm using the Staedtlers because they're small, and this is still a fairly small picture. What I'm doing with my roof is going in darker on each side and lighter in the middle. So I'm layering up on the edges more so than the middle. I'm going to do that the same all the way down. So Posca takes a little bit of time to dry, so I'm going to have to sort of stop this video for a bit before I put the colouring over the top. But I will do it last because if you colour over Posca with pencil, it shows up. Now that can be really useful if you want a background and you want to put things on top. I've used it. Oh yeah, it was an Inky and the Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. Dear me. And there's a treasure page, and I did a red background with the Posca, and then around each piece of treasure I used a darker red to just colour a little bit of shadow, and I'd coloured that on top of the Posca. You do have to be a little careful because Posca is paint. It's, you know, you can chip it off if you've got a really sharp pencil, so you do have to be a little careful, but it's pretty good. I've never tried to do something like white on top. It'd be interesting to see whether we could make the snow all stars in white pencil on top of dark Posca, but I usually just use white pen on top because it's just so vibrant, and that's what we really want. I don't know why I thought these roofs should be red. They just look like they want to be in my head, so that's what I've done. There we go. Now we've got these little, it's quite dark. I don't think that's going to help. I don't know, oops, it's just not my light, make it shut, wobble. I don't know why the paper looks so dark. Anyway, it's quite murky today. I have got lights on, but maybe I need some more on. Anyway, these are cross pieces. Actually, I think I'm going to do this one in red. I'm also trying to decide whether this is see-through, which bits are see-through and which bits are window. So that's a decision I'm thinking of too. And I'm thinking that this bit is see-through and this bit, but these are windows. And down here, which you can't see, they've got lanterns hanging in them, so I think they're probably windows. I shall zoom out later for you. So the across down bits, beams, supports, I don't know. I'm going to do them in a silvery colour. I think, will it work? No, let's do it in a gold. That's going to work better with red. So I'm going to use number 16, which I find is quite a goldy coloured yellow. And I'm not going to do a difficult gold because we've got such a teeny spaces here to fill in. So I'm just going to actually fill that in. And I'm going to, what I want to do really, ideally, is leave a bit of white in the middle to look like shine, but those two bits are too small, like that. Now we could do in our background with our stars and dots, we could use a glitter pen or a metallic pen, but because I'm trying to imitate metal here with my pencil, I don't really then want to do a pen, because a pen is so much better at looking like glitter or gold than a pencil. It would just make mine look a bit rubbish. So what I'm gonna do is make these white. And in fact, because I'm doing a Posca pen layer, you won't see these. I'll have to make them up after, which will be interesting. I probably won't do stars. This is the only one of the snow globes with stars. So if I want them to be consistent, then I'll do them all the same with just dots and things, but I'll have a think. I haven't got that far in my brain yet. I'm just dealing with one bit at a time. So doing this one. So I'm doing a harder layer here, or more colour here, less towards the middle, and the same from this side. I can see where the middle is quite easily on this one. It's there. So that's okay. Right, so that's that. Now I'm going to do the building bit. So I shall zoom out a little bit because we've got a bit of building here at the bottom. I'm sorry I can't push the book up anymore. There we go. Building. I'm thinking orange or brown. I think I'll work with those colours. I think I'm going to go with the brown. This is the number 73. You can't see, that's blurred. Number 73. Hopefully. Now, what I'm going to do is these dots and things, I think I'd like to be red. I'm going to do those first. I'm going to grab the red again, which is the number 29, and do these bits first. Be easier to get them done initially. These are really small. I'm just doing the best I can. I don't get too het up or worried about small. I can't see it, so if I had a magnifying glass or I was watching my video back on a huge screen, I would see it, but I don't want to. It doesn't matter. So I'm doing the same as I did for the roof. So we're doing a lighter amount of colour in the middle compared to the edges. And I'm colouring right over the top of the red. That's why I chose red. It's nice and dark. It can cope with a bit of colour going over the top. It's not really going to change how it looks. It makes it a lot easier. So that's what I'm doing. Just going back over that bit that I want to be a bit darker, until I'm happy with how it looks. Now, lanterns and windows. I want the windows to be nice and warm and yellow, but the lanterns I want to be a little bit darker than that. So I'm going to pick the most yellowy, darkest yellow, which is number 11, and I'm going to do the lanterns with that. I'm not going to do anything fancy with the lanterns. I'm just going to make them glow. You could make them patterned and pretty, but I decided that I just want them to glow. And the tassels I'm going to do in the number 16 to make them look a bit gold. I don't know if it'll really show up. They're really little. Okay, now for the light around the rest of the windows, I'm going to do number 10. It's quite a lemony yellow, and it might not look like it shows up very much, but once we do the background it will. Now, if you don't have a Posca pen for background, you could use any normal marker pen or a fine liner. Do make sure you test it out in the book first so that you can check for bleed through. And on the back of this page, there is actually quite a lot of colouring. There is some ice cream cones and popsicles or ice lollies to colour. So if you want to do that colouring, then you need to be careful of the bleed through on the other page. In fact, even with just a layer of Posca, it can stiffen the page a little bit. It doesn't worry me, but just so you are aware that that's going to happen. You might want to colour the back first and then come back. Now, I got a great tip about colouring snow. We've got snow here from someone who was an oil painter. And what he said he would do is think about what colour the ground is and paint that first, and then blob his snow on top, and you would see a bit of the ground through. That's great. With the snow globe, we don't need to worry about that because it's a snow globe, there's no ground. This is the bits of snow, this is the bits of whatever you shake up in the globe. However, I am going to colour it a light grey colour, and then blob the snow on top. And where the gaps are between the little dots of snow, it will look a bit like shadow between them, I hope. So I'm just going to do a light grey. This, I didn't tell you, it's number 80. It's just the lightest grey from the Ergosoft set. If you don't have a white pen, do not colour this grey, just leave it white. But the white pens are so worthwhile. Now before I disappear and do the background, I'm going to zoom out and do the bottom. I'm quite far away for that, but I'm going to have a go anyway and show you. Now I want this to look gold because we've got gold in these bits, but I'm going to do a couple of shades using the colours we've already used. So number 73, which we used for the building, I'm going to start with. I'm going to do it on the edge. I'm going to start off with lots of layers on the far edge and then less towards the middle on all of the sections of the base. Hopefully you can see how far I'm coming in. I'm sorry I'm so far away. I know a lot of you like it when I'm really zoomed in. So I said I wasn't going to do the domed roofs because I wasn't going to show you gold, and here I am showing you gold. Number 16. So we go over where we started to fade the last colour and extend that colour across, pressing hard to start with and then less layers as we get towards the centre. I am pressing quite hard, you can probably hear me. It's really not, shouldn't really be pressing this hard. Okay, I'm going to now use number 11 and do the same again, so overlap a bit and extend that colour out. I want to make sure I leave room for one more colour, so I'm not going to go too far out with this one. It's just a sort of transitional colour. We're going to end with our number 10. I want to leave some white in the middle. You can probably already see how the white gap is making it look shiny. What I'm going to do first is go all over what I've done already with the 10 and then just extend that middle just a bit. Bring it together so you've only got a small white area in the middle. Now lastly, what I want to do is these layers are separate, so they will have a little bit of shadow under them. Actually, I'm going to grab a darker brown. I'm going to use this one, number 77, so it's really quite a dark brown, just to create a little bit of shadow. Firstly, under the globe, it's going to be a little bit, only a fine amount, and remember to fade it towards the middle like we have with our other colour. So put down a heavier layer here and less as you go towards the centre. The same here, and hopefully that will just give the impression that this bit is in a few layers. It's only a tiny few lines. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go away and I'm going to do the Posca background. You don't want to watch me do that, it's really boring. I'm going to do it in blue. I'll show you the pen first. This is a Uni Posca, it's just called Blue. It says 33 there, I don't know if that's relevant. PC1MR, which is the pin type 0.7mm. So I'm going to do the whole of that in that and leave it to dry before I come back and show you the final bits. So I'll be back with you soon. Hi, I have done the background. As you can see, it looks a little bit uneven. Now, there are two things that I could do here. I could go back over it with another layer of the blue Posca, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go over it with a layer of blue pencil. As I said to you, the pencils work. This is number 3, and they work on top. So hopefully, if I put the pencil on top, it will just even it out a bit. I'm not sure that it is actually working. I can see right through it still. Maybe it needs another layer of Posca, or maybe we can just ignore it a little bit. but I need to sort of tidy this up and make it look the same. So I'm just going to finish this layer. Now, I'll chat to you while I go. The very top of the building, I don't know if my hand is shadowing it a bit too much. It's probably a little bit small. There's a tiny little piece at the top which was joined to the building with a little black line. Now I've lost that line under my blue Posca. So I want to redraw in that tiny line, because it looks at the moment, if you look close up, which you obviously can't see, like the very top of that building is just floating, and that's not ideal. So I'm going to draw that in, and I'm going to use a black fine liner pen. I could use a black Posca, but I think it might be a little bit thicker than the fine liner pen that I've got. So I'm just going to use that. Now the good thing with using this Posca is I'm going to put some snow on top, as we spoke about before. If it goes horribly wrong, just go back over it with the blue Posca again and hide it and start again. So it's quite fun. Obviously you don't want too many thick layers, or else it's going to end up sort of cracking off. I don't know if you ever did this as a child, but I remember at school doing so many layers of paint on a picture that when the page bent, the paint just cracked off, when it was dry, of course, because I was always rubbish at mixing the right amount of paint. So that hasn't made any difference whatsoever. But anyway, we should ignore, and we should just decorate because it's fun. So anyway, so be careful with your layers of Posca is what I'm trying to say. So I've got my white Posca here. This is the same size as the other one, and I'm going to do the snow at the bottom. So basically I'm just going to dot it around and on to this grey area. I'm going to leave quite a lot of gap to start with and see how it looks, and then just build it up as I see fit. I think it's best to just sort of experiment a bit. The idea, remember, of leaving the grey underneath was so that we had a bit of a contrast and shadow. So I'm just going to build it up as much as I think it needs. I want to try and do it so that the dots, it's visible that they're dots, because if you think about, if you've ever had a snow globe, they're usually quite big dots, and they do sort of pile up on top of each other, or sometimes flakes, and you can sort of see them there. So that's the sort of look I'm trying to achieve. I'm going to do some dots in the sky. I'm just going to do some blobs like this, and the same over here. They're fairly even, probably a bit too even, but there we go. I'm going to do the black line I was talking about. So I've got a Staedtler Triplus fine line. Somebody told me the name is engraved into the bottom. Oh yeah, it says B+9 on the very bottom. It's sort of engraved into the black, and I need a line here. Oof, I don't know if you can see that. That was a bit scary drawing that in, but again, you need to remember you can go over it in the blue Posca if you go wrong, so it's not, shouldn't be too scary. I'm going to use my Jelly Roll number 5. It's a thin nib. I'm just going to scribble to do some little starburst shapes. I think these are quite cute. Johanna does them fairly often. I think there was some here already. If you want to completely replicate what Johanna has done in the background of this, then either do a rough sketch or take a photo of the uncoloured background, and then you can make it look just like the one that was there. So it's up to you. But what I'm going to do with mine is I'm going to make all of the snow globes have the same background, same blue pen with white markings, so that they all match, and the same with the snow at the bottom, so it all looks quite similar. And I'll probably do all the bases the same colour as well, so we've got some sort of consistency through the page, but the actual buildings will all look different, and then we've got a bit of interest but a bit of matching, so we've got that sort of thing going on. So anyway, that is me done with that one, which was lovely fun. I have actually recorded this before Johanna's done hers, so I don't know if she's going to do the same one or not, and I apologise if she does, because I know you might want to follow hers and might have hoped I'd done a different one, but we'll wait and see what she does. But I'm just having to get a little bit ahead of myself for now, just because of my schedule. But that's that one. So thank you very much for watching, and happy colouring.